Hello, and welcome to the Run Amok Podcast.
Beauty. Hello, and welcome back to the Run Amok Podcast, home to the best Bachelor recaps on this side of the Bachelor Mansion. As always, I'm your host, David Stahl, and I'm joined alongside me for our final 2 episodes ever by my loyal compadres, producer Gary, Carson Cooper, to break down all the latest drama from our favorite franchise. Fellas, we've got a Women Tell All to recap. We also have a very, very, very interesting Fantasy Suites episode to touch on today. Oh boy, we take a turn. We talked about pre-pod, we go from lovable Midwestern oaf to gaslighter.
Yeah.
Ugly turn for Clayton. We'll start that off. And, we don't need to address it right off the bat because that's obviously at the end of the second episode, so we can touch on Women Tell All first. But look, I see people online. Some people are taking Clayton's side and saying Susie should have addressed this earlier. I think all of us can agree that sure, she may have needed to say it earlier if she expects him to not sleep with other women.
Yeah.
However, that's not the crux of the issue. The issue is in the reaction. And the reaction was, survey says, psycho.
Yeah. Super psycho. Like, I was leaning towards, not like I wasn't siding with Clayton, but I was like, Susie could have said something and it would have helped the situation. But then all of a sudden, we'll get into it later, but it was insane.
It takes quite a turn. Quite a turn. I know we do have some listeners that don't watch the show and then tune in for the podcast. And so we'll break it down for you. But it's a wild ride. That's all we'll say right now. But let's kick it off with the Women Tell All. This was a lot too. This was clearly a Bachelor in Paradise tryout. And we have some people, Sierra, really trying to make their voices heard, and it was a lot. I think everyone from all parties, obviously Shanae's the worst. We can put that on record. Keeps digging a little deeper, but I think everybody took it too far, far all around. What were your thoughts? Do you agree?
Oh, for sure. And I was thinking about this today, and I don't know if this is a hot take or not. The first portion, anyways, of the tell-all, honestly, it wasn't even exciting to me. It was just all too much.
Yeah. You remember Claire? We get a little throwback on Claire.
Yeah, we did.
Remember her, Gary, who left Clayton night 1, who said, I'm not into this guy.
Well, she wasn't there, was she?
Oh, she was there.
Yeah, she was there.
And we got a little bit of Claire, for sure. A little bit of just a recap of, wasn't into Clayton. Okay, cool.
Thanks. Nice talking to you. Yeah.
Extra just kicking the crotch for Clayton. Hey, remember that girl who knew immediately she didn't like it? Yeah, we brought her back. What could she possibly have to add to the situation?
And she added nothing. She just restated her position.
Yeah, nope, still not into him. Okay, cool.
Actually, even less into him after she watched this season, probably.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, but dude,
good call, Claire.
It was I guess so. Yeah, that aged well for Claire, but it was, you could see Jesse Palmer just sitting back at times going, what have I signed myself up for?
He looked purely distraught at times.
Just defeated. Absolutely defeated.
No matter how many times he said, guys, ladies, let me just jump in. It just wouldn't matter.
How do you compare how he did versus how Tasha and Caitlin did? Because unequivocally, he is more of a host.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Definitely more of a host. And even not talking about tell-alls, just kind of in general on the show, obviously Jesse Palmer very much is more similar to Chris Harrison in the sense of his approach to the show, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas I almost felt as though Tasha and Caitlin are more integrated into I don't want to say into the drama, but they're almost more involved in a way. Just the way they communicate with whoever the lead is and stuff like that, and the kind of the questions they ask. And
they're more characters in the show.
They're more characters in the show than kind of an objective host or someone who's
Jesse Palmer's more like a vehicle in which the show can go through.
Exactly.
Like he's more of like a lubricant for certain aspects. Like
for sure.
Yeah, and so they serve different purposes, but in this instance, I think it was probably good to have a Jesse Palmer, at least like have someone who's not going to be rattled in the heat of battle, because that's what it was. And so we can go through it. Look, Cassidy comes back. She clearly had like a PR mission. She looked like she hired a whole communications team. She came in ready for a statement. Girls weren't really having it, but whatever. She even snuck in a little line to Shanae of, if I had this opportunity, as much as you have, to reimagine my image, I would embrace it, and you're not. It's okay, shut up. Yeah, okay, yeah, I get it. I get it. But the big crux of the night, I guess two. One was Shanae. Yeah, surprise, surprise. She still sucks. Nobody should be shocked about that. But all the girls, because she refuses to apologize, she refuses to atone for her actions. All the girls needed to do was go, see, she still sucks.
Yeah.
Everyone's on your side. Like, you've been off the show now. You've seen the reaction. No one is Team Shanae. And yet, Sierra and Elizabeth more justified, but Sierra and Genevieve, too far. I was cringing with the body shaming. That was the line to me.
Like I actually had to, and I watched the episode a day after the tell-all, so I saw some of the tweets, obviously not kind of out of context, but just like the way the I think it was the diaper comment, that sort of thing.
Oh, her ass looks so bad. Oh, you wearing a diaper, like heckling her as she's going.
It's just
It's
how
too far.
low. How low
and then Elizabeth throwing it at a net, like everything's dying out. She goes, "Is there an eject button over there?" It's just like,
or you can rot in Ohio. Who said that?
Oh, whoa! I think that was Lindsay W.
Ooh,
very southern.
Southern. Yeah,
very southern accent. Which is like, if you live in West Virginia, is that a lot better than Ohio? Like, I wish we had the palmy, sandy beaches of West Virginia. Yeah, whoa. But look, again, we're not Team Shanae. Just thought, you're dealing with the worst person ever.
Yeah, you don't need to state your
the higher road.
Yeah,
it was painful to watch.
You're on. Yeah.
I think we can agree. Like, I get the frustration. I get a lot of them were like, we gave her so much grace. This was our chance when we actually saw what she was saying about us to get back at her. But the line is, to me, the body shaming. We should be above
for
that.
Sure.
Come on, ladies. But I don't know. I thought Teddy had a nice testimony about looking for love and not thinking she deserved it. It was touching. I hope she goes on Paradise. Hope she finds love, maybe just off the show, maybe with another Eckhart brother. That was a weird detail. Yikes. And then what else did we have? We had Sarah got cut. Look, we've seen this before. It's not rocket science. It's not a big mystery of how this happened. She got caught in a lie. She probably just said it, a little offhand comment. She came back from her date, her first one-on-one date, and said, yeah, like she had obviously cried. She probably said, yep, we cried together. And then someone said, oh, you cried together? And she maybe didn't think to backtrack and just went, yeah, we cried together. And then they latched on to that. Me and Coop, we say this all the time. When you're caught in a lie, just that first chance you get, just say, you know what? Yeah, I
gotta take that road out.
Dude, because nobody does that when you're younger, right? And maybe that's because she is 23. But when you're a young person, you're like, oh, I gotta die on this hill. But you know what? The past couple years,
the older you
I've
get,
actually started to say because sometimes we do this all the time. Me and you both do this, Cooper. Someone will be like, "Oh, have you listened to this album?" Or "Oh, have you seen this movie?"
Yep.
And I'm like, "Yep," just because it's like I don't really want you to explain it to me. And then I have people go, "Have you actually?" And I just started being like,
"We give you
I lied," and they'll be like, "Oh, okay." People don't mind.
Because that's so much better than trying to fake your way through a conversation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which But this is the best part. You know that's the next thing you're gonna have to do. So why do you still do it?
I know.
It's like you're prolonging it.
Painful
even
part.
Though, like, I'll put it off for another 2 seconds.
I know, it's so painful. I've done it with bigger stuff too. They're not like big lies, but I'll tell them white lie to help someone's feelings. And they'll call me and be like, "Yep, you know what? Yeah, it was a little bit of a fib. We're all human." That's all she needed to do. She could just easily said, "You know what? It was the heat of a competition. I was maybe feeling a little insecure. I didn't even realize it at the time. I said it, didn't think, it got away from me. My bad." Yeah. That's it. All the girls would have forgiven her. She's off the show now. She should have thought about that. She knew she was coming on. Just say, "I'm going to open up." And the girls would have loved her for it. Clayton comes out. Well, I guess now Clayton looks so bad that maybe they're going, "Yep, he probably lied about that." Right? Like maybe Sarah's coming full circle now. But Clayton was adamant that he didn't cry. Little awkward moment there. And then we end it. I think this is, Gary, we should note, Marlena, still the best. She goes to Clayton. She goes, "Yep, you tried your best. Hard spot. You're getting a tough beating today, but good enough job."
Yeah.
She's just the best, dude. I hope we see her in paradise. She deserves better. She deserves better. But I think the last line that really matters, and we can dive into more stuff if you guys want, but the meat of the episode, the meat of this week was the second episode. But we get Sierra saying, "I know what happens in the fantasy suites. I know what happens in the finale. And I don't think you're ready for marriage. I think you should be ashamed of yourself," essentially. And in the moment, I was like, "Okay, just stop." Like, oh my gosh, holy smokes. I don't need your 2 cents on everything. And I still have the same opinion, but I get it a bit more.
But she was right.
Yes, she was right. She was right. So, guys, I don't really have, last little thing, we do see scenes of Jesse Palmer's Bachelor stint, which was incredible. Dude, it was amazing. That moment where he gives the wrong girl a rose. He gives someone named Caitlin a rose. He goes, "Oh my God." And the wrong girl steps up. Yeah. Goes, "Oh my God, that was meant for Karen." Like, such a blunder. And then, so if it was early in the season too, I would have gone ahead and been like, "You know what? That's my fate."
That's your pick now.
He goes, "I'm sorry, Caitlin. That rose was actually meant for Karen. The deepest apologies." Girl has to hand her rose to the other girl.
Such a host, even back then.
Such a host, such a pro. No, dude, you should have seen. Look up the clips, Gary. Oh boy, the man was struggling to talk, to make it through a sentence. Yeah, he looked even more identical to Clayton back in the day, though. Like, it was always spitting image. But are you guys cool to jump into last night's episode?
Absolutely.
All right. So, initial thoughts. Super weird that they still have them chill in the same hotel room together. I don't love that. Don't love that at all.
We can stop doing that. I
think. Split them up. Yeah, it's weird. It always makes the third person go off the rails. We saw that last time. Don't love that at all. But Rachel's fantasy suite, it was good. We just don't really see them talk a lot. Honestly, like, they have great physical chemistry. Kind of feels like they're either like whispering sweet nothings to each other or getting hot and heavy. Like, they don't really seem to have much substance. Do you guys?
I think it's on Clayton, though. I think it's like every girl in their testimonials, or their confessionals, all episode were like, "I've opened up. I need him to open up more." Like, just basically saying that. And
that's definitely the case. Yeah.
He just never got there with anybody. So I think it's on him. But yeah, I think you're right. They are in that spot, and I think he's definitely closer with Gabby and Susie on like an emotional level, for sure.
For sure. And he does say he's falling in love with Rachel. He gives her the full "I love you" later. Says the same thing to Gabby. Gives her the full "I love you" later. To Susie, straight up in love. So very interestingly, I noted that I do think, and again, maybe this is just because I want to win a bet, but I do think Susie would have been the one, man. I
think if she went first, I think it would have been almost just game over.
Locked in. Yeah. Yeah. And so, I don't know. We can dive into Gabby's date. Again, it was nice. It was good. I thought they had the best date. They had a great date, I thought, like in terms of the actual structure of it. We love when they can finally piece together a date that is fun, makes sense for the couple. I thought the dune buggies were super, super fun. But, oh boy, Gabby comes back and Susie goes, you have bedhead.
Yeah,
I do.
You do. Yeah, I do. She goes, okay, let me fix that. Matted up. Is it fixed now? No, it's not. It's not. Clayton's handprint in the back, but yeah, it was a little tough to watch. Any other thoughts on those two dates though? Because that really wasn't the meat of these episodes.
Yeah, no, they were pretty nothing whatever dates. I will say, however, I was very jealous of Gabby's fantasy suite. That thing, like the little like yurt thing with like the view of the stars, and like that was.
Yeah, we have a friend who stayed in a yurt with his ex, and cool idea. I'm all in. I'm all in on a yurt. Yeah,
apparently, it doesn't end well for people that stay in the yurt, though.
Intern Darren, clip that. We're going back to Instagram. We're going back to putting clips on Instagram. Woo! Yeah, apparently not.
Apparently not. I'm staying away from the yurts in the future.
In Scandinavian culture, it's a bad omen. But it should be noted, though. And again, I don't know if you know what? I'm done giving Clayton the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. Okay, I'm actually done because I thought last night, I was like, how do I still view him in kind of a good light? It's because he's a big Midwestern brute, and you just think, oh, he's a jolly guy. No. Dude, you're telling them you love them for the first time, both women, before fantasy suites.
Yeah.
Seems a bit manipulative. Do you remember when Ben Higgins told both girls he loved them and it was the biggest deal on the planet? He told both of them that post fantasy suites. He didn't try to parlay this declaration of love into
in anticipation to meet them in the suite. Yeah, exactly.
I look, maybe that wasn't why he said it. But I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt anymore. Seemed shady.
But historically, like most contestants, I'm pretty sure aim to kind of wait for after the fantasy suites.
Yes.
Right?
Because how do you maybe they tell them when the cameras are off in the fantasy suite.
Sure.
But you tell one.
Then you
know you're not. You don't tell someone you love them. I don't have the rules. I understand the Bachelor is used to sleeping with multiple women. The Bachelorette is used to sleeping with multiple women. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But it's not typical that they tell them, I love you, and then sleep with someone else.
Yeah.
That is
atypical.
I would say we've never seen that be the case before.
I
certainly
agree.
Not to tell 3 women you're in love with them. And so we go to Susie's fantasy suite date. First of all, she gets absolutely hosed during the date itself.
Yeah.
A warm tub, cold tub in the middle of a storm in Iceland. Like, what are we doing? Also, they didn't even do. You're supposed to start hot, go cold, finish hot. They start cold
and get colder. Do they not? They went
get colder. Like. Horrible date. Yeah. She's feeling very uncomfortable the entire time. And then she basically says, they sit down at dinner and she says, look, I wish I'd gotten the chance to tell you this before, which is important to know that logistically, when is she supposed to have told him? Before hometowns? He's not bringing her. Like, maybe he is, but at that point, if you haven't heard an affirmation from him and you say, you can't sleep with the other 3 women left during hometowns, he's probably not bringing you along.
Yeah.
Can't say it then. If you tell the producers, I'm a little uncomfortable about fancy suites, well, guess when you're
going last.
You're going last, baby. You're going third. And so initially, I think we can all agree, we empathize with Clayton about, had he known that, maybe he would have gone about it differently. Were we all on the same page there, at least?
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
But then even at that point, I still empathized with Susie. It's a romantic idea, but look, I'm a cheesy romantic. I empathize with the idea of I just don't want to have to tell my future husband that.
Well, that's it.
I just want him to know.
I am also very cheesy romantic in very similar ways, David. It's just, I get the communication part is key, and I get that side of it. But at the same time, part of me thinks, and this could be just some like, I don't know, fantasy kind of view of love in my mind, but part of me thinks that if this person's right for me and if they truly love me or care about me the way I currently feel about them, I don't need to say that. And if it pans out the way it did, then I know. Then
that's it.
That's it.
Exactly.
That's okay.
Then fair enough.
But then fair enough. Then now I know. But if it is meant to be, they won't. You know what I mean? They'll know what to do, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you know what, man? And I'm very interested to gauge your thoughts on this, because my first thought, as Susie was saying that, dude, she wasn't asking him to leave. She was asking him to fight for her. Right? That, I think all she needed was for him to like, I think if he said, I know you want your husband to, and maybe that means I'm not him, and I don't know if I am, but like all I know is that I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. I hope, I'd like to think that I am the man for you, but I made a massive mistake, and I wish I could do it differently, but I can't, and I still love you, and I would just love this time to just talk without the cameras, without the pressure. I want nothing else than to just talk. He could have fixed it. Instead, he let his ego get defensive, and it got ugly.
There's so many situations this season where if he wasn't just a complete meathead, and I don't want to say he could talk his way out of, but like he could kind of mend certain things and approach it a lot differently and a lot more appropriately. Just one of those situations. Just not knowing how to even conceive a response to that. You know what I mean? Like
totally. And it gets worse from here too. But his first line is, well, in a marriage, you work through stuff. Hold up, man. This feels like a bit of an outlier. Does this feel like one of the, did your mom and pop have to work through the thing where your dad told 2 other women he loved her, and then slept with both of them? This isn't a typical marriage obstacle. This is an enormous violation.
You're also not married.
Yeah.
Also not married. Also, maybe you're not in the boat to be like, moral high ground, this is how marriage works. Yeah. Thanks for the lesson, asshole. But it gets so much where she was being so fair to him, in my opinion. Like, she was literally just saying the whole time, you're not wrong. I understand this is part of the process. I get that.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you how I feel about it.
How I feel about it, yeah.
I'm allowed to react in any way that I want. And again, I think my big takeaway was the disconnect was that Clayton was still very much in bachelor mode of like, I'm living in bachelor world. Like, this is my journey. This is my blah, blah, blah. And Susie was transitioning into the real world of like, we're about to be engaged.
Yeah.
I need some sort of like equality here. This is not just your journey anymore.
Well, that's just it. We say that from the beginning, but it becomes so much more real in these last, few weeks or few days where you have to start picturing a life outside of, Bachelor Nation at this point. Yeah. And if both people aren't on board with that, you don't understand that it's a two-way street. And, obviously a couple involves 2 parties, not just whoever the lead is of that season, right? It's not just their journey at this point.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And he does, I think because he loved her so much, because it was so strong, that is why he has such an emotional reaction. Yeah. I think it's also an ego thing for sure, but I think he was super invested. I think he was in love, and he lashes out. And this is the gaslighting portion where he says, well, then you if you're ready to walk away like this, then you never loved me at all. Then everything you said means nothing now. I don't even know who you are. And she's thinking, wait, no, I didn't walk away. I said I wanted to talk about
you're walking away right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait a second.
Dude, it was actually, because I know someone on here before, I'll never forget, has been like, you're not qualified to say who.
Not a psychiatrist. Yeah.
Fair enough. Whatever. Shut up. But like, this is textbook gaslighting.
I mean, He took a page out of Gaslight Greg's book. What more do you want me to say?
It was ugly, honestly. I keep thinking he's a great guy, but like this is very telling how someone reacts in these situations. And from what we see in the promos, does the same thing to Gabby, where he goes like, "How could you do blah 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 blah?" Dude, you fucked up. And his dad says that, like, you screw. I love this line. This is such an old man move. You screwed the pooch. Such an old man line. Really, like, especially in like such an emotional situation. Like, screw the pooch is great for like if you get a flat tire with your dad on the road.
Yeah.
Hey man, I just lost maybe 3 of the loves of my life. Yeah, you really screwed the pooch on that. You might die alone. Like, oh geez, okay. But it got really ugly. I guess for my final thoughts, I do think maybe what Clayton did to Rachel and Gabby might be worse than what he did to Susie, because next episode, it hurts a lot more to think, oh, especially Rachel, who I heard that he loved me and we spent the night together, we slept together. There was nothing questionable with that one. We always joke like, I need a little banner underneath. Not there. No way. They didn't even do the little birds and the bees like B-roll shot that they did. There was like, nope, they banged. And then you go and say, I love you to Gabby after. But Gabby's really in the same boat, because I don't think anyone denies that if Susie was willing to sleep with him, he would have done it. Yeah. Right? So I think they might have even more license to be upset. Kind of seems like they did it just to seal the deal. But it was very, very, very tough to watch overall.
Yeah, and to get even deeper into it, obviously Clayton's been very active on Twitter this whole season.
Yeah.
He's radio silent as of last episode.
Really?
Zero, nothing, no apologies. Absolutely zilch, no stories, not even like a promo like post or anything. So I think it's definitely gonna get way worse from here. And we got another 4-hour week next week.
Another 4-hour week next week.
I don't want to be that guy going into it, but like, are we really gonna fill 4 hours of content with this?
We'll see.
I don't know about that.
We'll see. Maybe Clayton will start gaslighting Jesse Palmer. Maybe Chris Harrison will have to come back. He goes, "You're not a great host. You ruined this for me." So predictions. Who's he end up with? I think he's got to be alone.
Nobody.
Nobody.
He's a loner. We called this for weeks.
Yeah. And it's got to be the case. So, all right, guys. Let's dive into our roses and thorns. All right. And finish off. I don't know what we're going to do for roses. Does anyone want to kick us off?
I'm going to call it right now. I'm not giving a rose. I don't.
Okay. I don't think
I can.
You can go back to Women Tell All, but I mean, that was that was ugly too. I know what I'm giving it for, but it's.
You kick us off then.
Okay. I'm going to give it to the Jesse Palmer throwback. I thought that was incredible.
Something completely unrelated from this season.
Well, dude, it has to be one from years ago. I had to go a decade plus back to find my rose.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go with a rose. Jeez, what's the only one?
Gabby had some nice moments.
What's that?
Gabby had some nice moments.
I'm gonna go with the term "screw the pooch."
Yeah. Okay. There we go. That's a great one.
I'll go with the potential rose is. There's a chance that nobody ends up with Clayton, and that's like the best outcome for this season. So
for humanity,
that's
fine. Yeah, for humanity.
I love it. I respect that. Let's go, Rose. Do we almost want to like? What did I have written down? I have Clayton's gaslighting. Do we want to give a collective one to the Bachelor?
Oh yeah.
A collective thorn. Oh baby. All right.
Rarely do they come, but yeah.
We've never had the 3 of us give our thorn to the lead on Fantasy Suites. Never before have we done that, but well earned. This was, I don't know. This was a worse showing than Peter Weber. It was more volatile. Yeah. Not a fan.
I actually have another thorn to give out. A friend reached out to me during the week and was talking about like the episode. And he was like, "Oh, I saw this thing on Instagram. It's like this crazy theory that like Clayton ends up with nobody." And I was like, "Well, obviously, not that hot of a take." But then he was like, "And apparently they think that he's gonna get a rerun season. Like he's gonna get another."
I
season.
saw that.
And I was like, "Dude, there is no world where that happens."
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give a thorn to that person, whoever came up with that genius theory. Like,
yeah, I agree. I've seen that going around too. No one's watching this season.
No, it's like the least viewed season probably ever. Like
ever.
We're
Horrible.
not running it back.
No, we're not running it back. Who do I want for Bachelor? Literally, like I'm seeing a homeless man piss on the curb right now. I'd love to give him a shot. I don't know. Like
I'd say we start fresh, pull someone from outside the show.
Yeah.
And then we all get to like the contestants get to learn who this is and learn about this person. We get to learn about
Matt
this person.
James, baby, 2.0.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we got to get
all right.
Do it.
Well, we'll see you guys next week for another 8 hours of television. I'm losing daylight quick over here. I'm creeping towards the window. Just trying to...
All right. Pay the electricity bill.
All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Rate, review. It doesn't really matter. We got one episode left after. All right. We'll see you soon, guys. Bye. Peace. Oh, Gary, remember.
A wet bird never flies at night.
All right. Thank you. Peace.